What's going on, everyone? Hey, y'all. Shout out to Dan DeWitt, James Locke, Reese Grundy, Level Remix, Todd Ellis, Orlando Moscato. God, I wish my name was Orlando. There is not a single guy that I've ever met whose name was Orlando who just wasn't a beautiful man. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's like a prerequisite to have that name.
It's kind of like Leander, so I'm all for it.
It's exactly the same. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Well, someone just complained he doesn't like his name, and I said, he said, why do we give him his name?
Mm-hmm.
We ruined his life. He wants to change it.
Which son is that?
Milo, by the way, Milo.
Yeah, I agree with him.
And I was like, you could have had the name like Leander. My God,
Is Leander a common name out?
No, not common at all. I got hell for it at school.
So what is it? Is it a proper British name or?
No, it's from Greek mythology.
Oh, so you're like a Greek god. That explains
demigod,
the physique.
Yeah.
Really? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on, really? Now I gotta Google this.
It worked out okay though. I used to get beaten up for my name. I get beaten up, and then the girls would sympathize with me. So that was really what I was interested in. So
you would intentionally lose the fight.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'd lose it on purpose.
Stop!
Didn't have a
Right,
choice,
exactly. And then, are you okay, Leon? That's this.
That's you fighting back.
My fighting style. Flapping fish.
The flapping
MMA
fish.
Time.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, we've sufficiently wasted enough time here. Shout out to Morty Lowe. I got to move this closer. It's so far away, I can barely see anyone's names. John Forster, who's in the UK. Hello, Governor. Daniel Kent is here. Oh, he's also from the UK. Cheerio, old bean. I've got...
Cheerio, you mean hello, right?
No, cheerio is the official greeting
goodbye.
of the Gov Club, yeah. Cheerio, old bean. And you tip your, Whatever happened to your Kangol hat, Leander? You never wear that anymore. And we had agreed you were the white Samuel L. Jackson. That was a good look for you.
Yeah. No, it's at home.
And why don't you wear it anymore?
I still got a whole collection of them.
Oh, you have more than one?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I got a whole...
You literally are the white Samuel L. Jackson. You have a whole collection of Kangol hats. You're easily agitated. You've been to prison several times. Like, you're literally him.
I say the MF word.
Don't use the language.
Yeah, please don't. We can't afford to get demonetized. All right, guys, let's see here. We're going to start officially here in just a sec. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't even know if we're going to make it through all this stuff. M1 Max, the reviews are in. Boom! Where's that? I should have pulled up that GIF of that guy who's going boom, and that sound wave is going out. It's truly, when I say unbelievable, I don't mean like it's unbelievable. Like, it is actually unbelievable. And some of the reviewers were so surprised by the benchmarks that these Macs are generating that they actually did not believe the benchmarks. So we're going to be talking about that. We got some iPhone 12 stuff to talk about. Leander has both phones. He's also got a MacBook Air. When his wife sees how much money he just spent on all this Apple stuff.
No, I've been trying to launder it.
I was thinking, I swear, honey, no, it's a call service. It's not more Mac stuff. I was thinking if she sees how much money you've spent, Leander, you're going to be in big trouble. Big trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're ready to roll here, I think we should go ahead and get started. Because if we don't, we're going to run out of time because we're already almost out of time.
Old move.
If everyone's ready, let's go ahead. Let's get Mrs. Doubtfire on the screen. And let's get going. You guys ready? Here we go. Wait, no. Here we go. We're still ironing out the kinks here. Still doing some ironing here. Give me a break here. Here we go. Mrs. Doubtfire, are you here? Yes. It's ready to start time. Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Coldcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elijah. Join me today. He's a lot like the new MacBook Air, smaller but powerful. With advanced computational power, he's the managing editor of Cult of Mac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Yeah, no overheating either.
Also with us, you say you want cutting edge. Well, just take a look at that sharp jawline. He's the founder of Cult of Mac. Leander Caney is here.
Hello.
Not as sharp as it used to be, but
thanks for pointing that out.
Thanks for noticing.
I'm just joking. You could cut a Wonder Loaf with that. Is that what they call them, the Wonder Loaf?
Cut it? You mean like squish it?
Squish it into your mouth.
No more food jokes. I'm already starving.
Yeah, me too. Well, I just looked at the time. It's lunchtime.
Oh
Come on,
gosh,
It's
why
well past lunchtime at this point.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think next week we're going to start
episode.
earlier. Next week, I've been listening to these grumblings, both from your mouths and your stomachs, for the last hour, because we tried to start at 11. I don't know why all of a sudden we're just going live now. It's 12:30. So, but our normal start time is 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. So we're going to try and hit that time next week. Anyway, we got so much stuff to talk about here, guys. Let me just do a quick summary for those of you that are just joining us. MacBook, Apple M1 Macs. Whew. The reviews are in. People have these machines now. Oh my goodness. When I say that people are not believing the performance, I mean that some of the people who have these are literally not believing the performance increases we're seeing with the M1 Max. I don't know if I'm going to be able to resist, quite honestly. That Mac Mini, its performance from what we're seeing is on par with the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it's optimized for Final Cut Pro, and the Final Cut Pro gains I'm seeing look absolutely insane. I just don't know if I can resist. We're going to be talking all about that. Also, where are my show notes? I totally lost them. We're going to be talking about the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the iPhone 12 Pro Mini, because our own Leander Caney, he's got both of them. He's talking in stereo mode, right, Leander? Just like walking around town like a 90s Wall Street banker. Sell.
Good idea. I could do that, yeah.
So, and he's also got the new MacBook Air. Did you get the Mac Mini too, Leander?
The Mac Mini, no.
That's the one thing.
No, I didn't get one of those.
Okay, that's the one thing that you didn't get. Okay.
Didn't get, right. Got the HomePod Mini though.
Oh, you got the HomePod Mini too. Jeez, Louise. Yeah, look. Hey, check this out. Check this out. I'm gonna flash you guys something. You ready? Hey. How do you like these bad boys right here?
You haven't opened them up yet?
Boom, 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 boom. No, I haven't opened them yet.
Wow, when'd you get them?
I got them yesterday afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost a full day of not opening them?
Well, I mean, it's been like 12 hours, I guess, 13 hours. I want to show my address here. Look how small this is. This is the shipping box, right? And inside the shipping box is a whole Mac Mini. I mean, a whole HomePod Mini. There's too many minis now. So I'll be doing a review of those on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AirFanElijah, real soon. But yeah, they're sitting right here. Let's see. Before we dive in, let me hit browser mode here. Are we in browser mode? There we go. Want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode. All you need to power your online store is at squarespace.com/cultcast. Look at all these beautiful websites. They make it so easy to build a website. I've been customizing the website for cultcloth.co, and it just is surprisingly easy. You can dive in. You can customize absolutely everything. Everything is drag and drop. You start with a template, and you can launch it right away with the template and have a website up in mere moments, or you can customize the heck out of everything and do so all with drag and drop without having to actually know any code. They make it so easy, and it's extremely powerful. You'll have a beautiful website up quickly. The website will look great on any device that visits. You can also sell your services. Maybe you are a whiz. You're a whiz kid at something, and you want to teach people how to do what you do. You can have people book your time, and you can make money that way. I mean, they provide a platform to sell digital products. I mean, you can sell literally whatever you want. I think anything but body parts. I think that's the one thing that you can't do. I was thinking about dabbling in that world, but they said, no, that's not cool. But it's very lucrative. So I was like investigating it, but nope, they said no. So anything but body parts you can do. They've got very flexible payments, checkout. They got the whole tax thing figured out for you, so you don't have to figure out how to like collect sales tax and everything. So if you're ready to get started, do what many smart, attractive people from the community have already done. Head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast and sign up for the free trial, build a website, see how you like it. If at the end of your trial you want to keep your service, you can do so and save 10% off your first purchase with code CULTCAST at checkout, squarespace.com/cultcast. Okay. Shout out to everyone joining us live. We're going to hop in and talk about all sorts of wonderful Apple news. If you're new to the show, let me just say a quick hey, yo, to all of you and say, if you're not familiar with the Cultcast, we get together. We unite. We're like that robot, Zoltron. What is it? Those Power Rangers build when they all aggregate together. Why am I asking the two of you this question?
Power Rangers.
They unite and turn into like a
not know the answer to that one.
Powerful robot. That's like us. Like on our own, we're powerful, but when we unite, we're unstoppable. And we gathered to talk.
Wonder Twins.
We gathered to talk about each week's best Apple stories, and we just keep talking until we completely ran out of steam, and then we stop, usually abruptly, and call it good there. So, first story of the day. Let's talk about these new M1 Macs. Holy moly! Oh my gosh, I'm pulling up the story here. I'm trying to vamp as I pull up this story. So, I'm going into browser mode here so you guys can see this. The M1 Macs are blowing reviewers' socks off. I even heard a few reviewers claim their pantaloons were blown off completely too. Some guys were completely nude after reviewing the M1 Macs. There was nothing left. It's just shocking how good the performance is for these new M1 Macs, and that's been the universal truth from all the different reviewers that I've seen. Everyone has been surprised by how powerful these M1 Macs are, and the performance metrics on these Macs are truly insane. So just check out this graph that I'm looking at. For those of you listening, I'm showing a graph of the single-core and multi-core performance for the new MacBook Air, the new MacBook Pro, and the new Mac Mini with the M1 chip. This is a single-core performance right here, okay? Just check out this bar graph. So the Mac Mini is at the top, the new Mac Mini. The new MacBook Pro, the 13-inch, is at the top. The new MacBook Air is at the top, okay? And they are faster than literally every other Mac available today, including the MacBook Air. The late 2020 MacBook Air with the M1 chip is faster than the iMac 27-inch, the MacBook Pro 13-inch, the iMac 27-inch from 2019, from 2020. I mean, you name it. It's ridiculous. And not by just a little bit. The new Macs are like 30% faster. Or actually, I take that back. Yeah, it's about 30% faster in single-core performance. They're also faster in multi-core performance. And that is in addition to the better battery life, which a lot of people have been going on and on and on and on and on about how great it is. And I think one of the things that really wowed me was this great video from Dave 2D, which if you haven't seen it, I will link to it in the show notes. And if you don't know Dave, he does a lot of reviews on tech stuff. He makes good videos. And I think the thing that really surprised me about this particular review that he did was that when he ran the benchmarks for the new M1 Macs, he actually didn't believe his results. They were so good that he ran the benchmarks again. He thought that he had something wrong in his benchmark tests because the M1 Macs were performing as well as they were, and they were so far exceeding his expectations that he didn't actually believe what he was saying, what he was seeing, because his brain just couldn't compute, like, how are these processors as good as they actually are? And so he ran them again, I think several times, and finally came to the conclusion that, yes, his testing methodology was right. It's just that these M1 Macs are so insanely powerful that they far surpassed any expectations. So what can you say about that, Leander Caney? It's just crazy. It's crazy to have this level.
Yeah. I know, it is nuts, isn't it? I mean, I remember the switch to Intel, and people were, sort of excited about that because of all the possibilities. But this is like a whole different level, and it's so seamless too. The way that Apple's pulled this off. I mean, there's not many companies that can perform a transition this complex, let alone this. To do it to vault right over everything in the market right now is it's just madness, really. I mean, I think people were expecting them to be to be fairly fast, but not to be this fast and to be this good. I mean, it's Apple's really pulled its pulled off an amazing transition here. I think even more impressive than its two previous chip transitions.
I don't think it would be taking it too far to call this a feat. Like an amazing accomplishment. We all expected these to be good, but seeing the way they perform and you add that to the drastic improvement in battery life. I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
as far as
exactly.
a technology leap goes, like when you're going from most CPU upgrades, you might see like a 10 to 15% gain, performance gain. But here you have a 30% performance gain. So you have a MacBook Air performing better than an 8-core MacBook Pro or better than any iMac. And the
nuts,
iMacs are already beastly. And
and this is their first chip too. I mean, their first desktop chip. It's crazy. I mean, it's on mobile. The Apple's chips are so far ahead of the Qualcomm Snapdragon and other mobile chips. Anything in an Android handset. I mean, it's way above. But the performance doesn't matter so much on mobile, does it? But on desktop and on computers, it surely does. And yeah, it's insane. It's nuts. I mean, it really is nuts how far ahead they are. I mean, can you imagine that this is the first generation chip? I mean, what's going to happen next year when they get the second or third generation, when they really get into their stride? I mean, it's going to be crazy. I mean, people are already talking about switching over for data centers and Apple should be setting up its own chip business to sell to other companies. I mean, this is crazy, this kind of talk.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen their real desktop processors yet. So these are just their mobile processors. It's like this is the low end of what they're going to be able to do. Because I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, which I love, the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro. I spent a fortune on it. I think it was like a $3,400 machine. And now I'm looking at these benchmarks, and the new M1 Macs are performing. So the MacBook Air, which is passively cooled, is faster in many measurements than the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which I spent $3,400 on. So it got me thinking, well, maybe I should switch to like the Mac Mini because its performance is on par with the 16-inch MacBook Pro as well. And the new GPU that they've included in the M1 SoC is also substantially powerful. So I'm thinking, and it's fine-tuned for Final Cut Pro. So I'm thinking this might be the perfect Final Cut Pro machine if you don't need something that's portable. And I was really seriously considering making the upgrade, but then I started thinking, this is the mobile version. This is the low power version of the M1. What are they going to do with the 16-inch MacBook Pro or the new iMac? That thing is going to be like a monster truck. It's just going to be driving all over all the other PCs, and there's going to be some guy with a Slim Jim, and he's going to be shaking it out. It's going to be TC in a monster truck with a Slim Jim just driving over the competition.
Crushing everything.
Yo! That's what it's going to be. It's going to be, so I think I'm going to wait for the 16-inch MacBook Pro, or maybe even, this might be my first iMac purchase ever, because if these things are that powerful, and here's the other thing. I know I already said this, but I want to emphasize this again. These are going to be optimized for Apple software. So if you are a Logic user like I am, if you are a Final Cut Pro user like I am, you're going to have a huge increase in performance just by nature of using Apple's integrated hardware. And they're going to fine-tune absolutely everything to make it work with Final Cut Pro. And it's just going to be, I mean, the fact that you have a MacBook Air able to edit 8K video, and from what I've seen from people who have actually tried it, they're like, it actually works. That is a magic trick. That's like a crazy feat of performance. I'm trying to think of a word that means flash. They're showing off.
Mm-hmm.
Give me something, Lewis. You're the editor. Give me a word. Bravado.
Pizzazz.
Bravado. Pizzazz.
You don't like pizzazz, huh?
Actually, I love the word pizzazz, but I only...
You don't get to use it very often.
You don't. The only time I use it is when I'm describing the Cultcast, and I say that we do each week's best Apple stories, but we do it with pizzazz.
It rhymes with pizzazz. Yeah. Man. I think they're getting. I think that Apple's getting a lot of good. Like they're making waves with this. I mean, my wife came up. She's like, I'm thinking about buying one of these new MacBooks. I'm like, what? What?
Not before me, dear.
Astonished.
Well, because your wife, I mean, she doesn't follow this stuff very closely, does she? I mean, if it's broken through to her, then
yeah, that's what I mean. I might have mentioned it to her because she was talking about something, and I said, "These things sound pretty good," But then she's been like looking over the the product pages, and she was comparing the Air to the Pro, which, by the way, they don't even seem that different. I mean, it's kind of shocking. I was a little bit amazed at how powerful the Air seems to be compared to the Pro. But
right.
Let me bring up one other thing that I forgot to mention earlier. I'm going back to this bar graph that shows all the M1 Macs being absolute powerhouses. So these bars, so all three of the M1 Macs are at the very top, and their bars are way longer than everything else below it, for those of you that are listening. The one thing I forgot to mention is these Macs are running a non-optimized version of Geekbench. So this is an Intel-optimized app. So these scores are happening through Rosetta 2. This is through translation. This is not even their real native speeds because Geekbench hasn't yet been optimized for the new Apple Silicon. I've decided I'm going to say it that way. Everyone else is saying silicon with C-U-N.
Silicon.
I'm going to call it silicon. Yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
I remember it during the keynote when Craig Federighi made that comment about, they're even running faster under Rosetta. I was like, come on. It sounds like it just didn't sound believable. Didn't you hear people saying it actually is that way? I mean, what in the world? It's like some kind of dark magic. I don't know.
Maybe that's the explanation. Everyone keeps saying, how did they do this? In secret, no less. Maybe that's it. Maybe
Tim Cook sold his soul to the devil at some crossroads, didn't he? Yeah.
Could
maybe
be
TC is a wizard.
Technology.
Huh?
Maybe they got it from Area 51, man.
Shoot, maybe
alien technology.
I mean, I haven't done a lot of reading on this, but I really wanted to dig into it because a lot of this has to do with the new architecture, isn't it? Because people are talking about the 16 gigs of RAM and how it maxes out at 16 gigs of RAM, and people are freaking out about that. But apparently, it hasn't had any effect whatsoever. People are talking about didn't TechCrunch Matthew
Panzarino?
Panzarino, yes, he opened up 400 tabs, I think, in Safari. 400 tabs, and in Chrome too. And of course, Chrome ground to a halt, but it didn't affect the rest of the system, which is crazy.
Leonard, you got to get one of these ASAP.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to perform this. I need 800 tabs.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's your dream scenario right there.
But this is one of the reasons why it's so fast, because it's a whole new system architecture, isn't it? The RAM is actually on the chip itself, and it is able to share its content so much faster with all the different elements of the chip. Rather than it buffering out into the RAM, that's on the logic board, it's all taking place in the chip. So the idea that RAM now, is something that you'd want to upgrade or even think about, perhaps it's a moot point, right? It doesn't, with this new system architecture, you don't even have to think about RAM anymore. That's what it looks like anime. I'm going to have to read those AnandTech analyses because these chip experts, know a lot more than me. But it is a fascinating thought, isn't it? They've not only are these chips fast, they have this brand new architecture that makes a lot of the idea of having a logic board with all these different elements on it moot now. Anyway,
I don't even care if the new Macs can't use 32 gigabytes of RAM. I still want 32 gigabytes of RAM.
You're thinking, it's old school thinking. Old school thinking,
you call me old school.
It's a new era now. It's a new era. You got to think. You got to think new. Think different.
Oh, that's for you. He
No,
worked it in. He's the master.
Is the base 8 or
what's
16? I can't remember.
It maxes out at 16.
Yeah, base is 8, max is 16.
I'm a 32
it's
gigabyte kind of guy. That's just my nature. You guys are probably fine with 4, but I prefer 32. So if I can get 32, and I bet you 32 will be available on the 16-inch MacBook Pro, even if it's unneeded. That's going to be... I'm like one of those flies to one of those UV lights. I got to go for it. I'm going to get zapped, especially now that you can't You can't even upgrade the RAM on any machine. It's all going to be soldered directly into the motherboard. Anyway, I know we talked a little bit about this last week, but people have been getting their hands on these machines now, and it's one thing to see Geekbench tests from computers, and you're like, is this the real M1 Mac? Do we know for sure? But now everyone's getting their hands on the machines. The embargoes have all been lifted, and Apple was telling the truth. I mean, these machines, even with some non-native applications, are running faster than they do on the machines with Intel chips. So believe what you will, but what I'm seeing is kind of unbelievable. Now, a lot of people are criticizing these new Macs, and I'm looking at the comments here. I've seen the word Windows mentioned about 30 times.
Right.
That they don't run Windows in boot camp, and if you need Windows, then I could see that being a legitimate criticism. But my guess is, and this is just a guess, just a hunch, that most people just don't care about that at all. And boot camp is a really esoteric topic to most people. They don't know what it is. They don't care what it is. They probably think it's some show on A&E where snotty teens go to get disciplined by some big drill sergeant yelling in their face. That's probably what they know about boot camp. So if you don't need Windows,
can you still run
who cares?
Windows in a virtual machine?
Yeah, you can. So, I mean, you can't run it natively, so you're virtualizing at that point, which a lot of people were like, it's not the same. And they're right, it's not the same. But maybe it will run faster. From what we've seen so far, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that maybe the M1 Max will actually virtualize Windows faster than an actual Windows machine.
Right, that's definitely a possibility, isn't it?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. So there you are. There's your M1 Mac updates. Leander has the MacBook Air. He'll be testing it, and he is a benchmark wizard. We're going to be seeing all sorts of incredible benchmarks pouring out of the Cult of Mac Command Center.
I'm not sure I'm going to run the benchmarks, to be honest, because everyone else has, so it's kind of like, recreating what everyone else has done. And two, like, I'm not really sort of a benchmarks kind of guy. I'm more sort of like a user experience kind of reviewer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Keep
it, do you think that they're...
I think the number of tabs you can open in Chrome is more important for me, than running some real benchmark, like how quickly it compiles WebKit or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's probably a realistic test for a lot of people, is they just want to know how many tabs they can have open.
Right.
How fast does it open private mode? How fast does it close private mode window if I need to close it really fast? That's what I need to know. This one's down to point
real world usage. Yeah.
0.002 seconds. That's what I need. I gotta be able to close it right away.
If you can do like 5 times faster typos.
Well, I can handle that on my own. I don't need a new Mac to get me to that metric. Any thoughts on that, Lewis? I think maybe we should move on and talk about iPhones now, but I don't want to.
The only thing that I thought was weird about it is, and I was looking at those specs again. Were you guys surprised that they only have 2 ports, even the Pro?
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, isn't it?
I thought that was weird.
But that's just for the 13, and many people have hypothesized that is due to the fact that the throughput on the new M1 SoC is just not capable of handling more than 2 ports, but who knows? We're just guessing at this point. I think TC's got something up his sleeve. I think for the 16-inch MacBook Pro, well, look, there's no way the 16-inch MacBook Pro is going to have 2 Thunderbolt ports and that's it. That doesn't make any sense. It's going to be a large machine, and they just have 1 on each side. There's no way. It's got to have 4.
It's 2 on one side, isn't it?
Well,
not the way they're built.
No, I've got 2 on each side right now. I've got 2 on the left, 2 on the right.
Yeah, I know on the Intel Pros, but I mean, anyway. I don't know. That was just the one thing that I found really kind of surprising. I mean, looking at the specs between the Air and the Pro, there's just not that much difference. I mean, it's basically like a touch bar and a fan, I guess.
Yeah, but the touch bar is so worth it, Lewis. I used it yesterday to stop a QuickTime recording. That was like the first time I actually touched the bar in...
Whoa, on purpose.
Yeah, 12 months. I was like, oh, there's a stop recording button on the touch bar. That's actually useful. And other than that, it's not useful.
Thing once in a while. It's actually kind of handy.
Every once in a while, it pops up with something. You're like, oh, I'll click that. If I need to enter my first name into a text field, I'm like, boop. It's got it right there. The one thing I will mention, though, before we move on, the camera. People are saying the camera is still, it's doo-doo. I don't want to get us demonetized, so I'll just say it's utter doo-doo still. It's a little bit better than it was before, thanks to Apple's new image signal processor on the M1, but it's still not nearly as good as it should be for a computer as expensive as these. Okay, let's move on because LK, our very own LK, he's talking in stereo mode. He's got the iPhone 12 Pro Max. He's got the iPhone 12 Pro Mini. And I guess my question to you, Leander, because everyone's talking about the iPhones, right? And there's been so much said about them already. I think what would be more helpful to hear your opinion on is which one are you going to keep and why? Because now you have both.
That, that's the question. That's a $64 million question. I'm totally on the, caught in a dilemma about it too. I mean, here's the oops,
you got it?
Whoa, dropped it.
Whoa, my microphone's gone all wonky. Hold on.
We don't need a microphone wonk over there. Don't let it fall off.
Okay. Yeah, the Max and the Mini here.
You got them right there?
And I've been using a Max, the big phone since the 6S, which is like 2015. So
wait a second. Hold on. Can you hold both the phones up next to each other, and then just like? No. Yeah, just hold them up so we can see the scale. I want to see them side by side, all the way up, a little bit higher, higher. There it is. A little bit farther back. There you go. Man, look at that size difference. That Max is preposterous. Can you move them a little bit left and right of your face and then look at the camera? There we go. Oh, that's thumbnail city right there, baby. I just got my thumbnail. There it is. Wow. That Mini looks like a child's toy in your hand.
It's weird. It doesn't look that small.
It's not that small, to be honest. It's small, but it's not so small that it's unusable at all. Like, in other words, it's almost everything I wanted to do on it. I thought it was going to be like a little doll's phone, when I've used the older phones in the past, when they had the screen that was, they had a big chin here with the home button. The screen is much smaller.
Yeah.
On the older phones, on the older iPhones. But, because it's a full screen now, it's so much bigger that it's actually much more usable.
Huh.
And I haven't had any problem. I thought it was going to be like fiddly and I was going to have to zoom in and pinch to scroll and all that kind of stuff. But I haven't, it's complete, perfectly functional. And of course it's not compromised or crippled in any way. It's almost exactly the same specs as the bigger phones, the other ones in the 12 lineup. It has the same chip, same screen, same cameras. I mean, that's the main difference with the Max Pro is the camera bump,
Yeah.
That it's got the 2-lens camera, whereas the iPhone, the Pro Max has 3, and of course a LiDAR scanner, and there's no LiDAR scanner on this. But otherwise, you've got Face ID, 5G, a really nice OLED screen. And I'm kind of like, I never would have considered this. I got it for the review, and I figured it's going to be a popular phone, so we should review it.
At least that's what you're going to tell your wife.
Yeah, well, that's what I told her. Yeah, she was questioning me about it, giving me a hard time. I'm like, come on, honey, this is what I do for work, But I was going to return it, but now I'm kind of like, I'm really on the fence. Like, I do like the Pro Max, and I do like the cameras, but it is uncomfortable to sit on when I keep it in my back pocket. It is kind of big and unwieldy. You definitely can't really use it with one hand. I had to set up that the shortcut, the assisted touch to do the down screen. When I tap on the back, it brings the screen down. You see, like this.
Yeah.
I tried to set that up yesterday. It didn't take. I was very disappointed.
So it works. Okay, what's it called? What that feature?
Reachability, right?
Reachability, yeah. And I set the keyboard as well, so it's on the right hand side of the screen, so that I can type with one, with my thumb on the with one hand. But it's always a problem. You can't reach the whole screen, even with my big beautiful hands. But this is definitely a one-handed phone. Everything you can do, everything you could want to do, you can do with this, and I can totally reach up into the furthest corners. So I'm really conflicted. I really don't know what to do. I've probably got like another week before I have to return it.
Oh, you're going to return one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is making more sense now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really torn. I really don't know which one to return. I probably will return the Mini, because of the cameras. Like, you can't beat the cameras on this phone. The cameras are phenomenal on the Pro Max.
Well, I was looking through
and-
the pictures that you posted in this Cult of Mac story, and there's a bunch of night mode pictures, and some of them were really stunning. Like I'm looking at the one with the it's like a Ferris wheel. Is this in San Francisco or something?
Yeah, in Golden Gate Park.
Oh, is that Golden Gate Park? Okay.
That wasn't even a good photo, really, to be honest. It was awful.
I think
I
it
don't
looks.
think it was very good.
I think it looks pretty good, and you could see the reflection of this huge lit Ferris wheel on the water because it's a night shot. There's one from the Golden Gate Bridge, which it looks like a regular camera photo. There's one of a very lovely young lady here. Very nice portrait picture of her. Here's one of a church. Maybe was Milo taking this shot? Oh, this is Lyle. Maybe Lyle took her to this church afterwards. Uh-oh, you better ask him what's going on here, Lander.
Right.
I feel like there's a narrative happening here.
Yeah, that's Lyle's girlfriend. Yeah, but and he took some nighttime shots, and he wasn't even doing a really good job. He did it really quickly. He was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, Dad, okay."
Whatever, Dad. Okay.
You know, I had to really kind of bully him to take these, but and they could have been a bit better, I think. You know, he wasn't holding it that steady, but they're not bad. You know, I know that that there's almost no light at all. I mean, for a low light shot, it's remarkable what the cameras can do.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you know, I was trying to compare. I tried to take a lot of the same shots with the Mini and the Max, and basically, except for the telephoto, there's no difference between them. It's the same camera system, I think, isn't it? Although I think the sensor's a bit bigger in the Pro Max.
Yeah, it has much better low light capabilities.
Low light stuff's supposed to be better, but I thought you were saying that it wasn't. You didn't find it all that different.
Well, to my eyes, and I'm not really, I'm no pro photographer, but to my eyes, yeah, I found them almost essentially the same. Yeah, even in the low light stuff, it was the Mini's pictures to my eyes were as good as the ones on the Pro Max.
And the Mini is so much more portable, of course. That's the thing, is it kind of sounds like you're not really noticing the performance differences as far as the Mini and the Max go, and they seem like they perform in a similar way. You can't really easily tell what the differences are between the phone. Is that kind of a fair conclusion?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I couldn't tell any difference. It's just as quick, to pull up maps, to scroll through photographs, to scroll up and down web pages. I couldn't, in everyday use, I couldn't find any, lags or differences.
Just the monthly payment.
Just as well, huh?
Just the monthly payment.
Yeah, right,
Pretty big difference there.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's true,
it's
right?
Like $400 cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're still going to go with the Max, huh? I mean, why? Why go with the Max? I feel like you're falling for that classic Apple maneuver. You got to have the best that there is, right? So you got to go with the most expensive, the best performing
FOMO.
one.
Exactly. Yeah, it's FOMO. Definitely
you got FOMO bad. Because it seems like you're happier with the Mini. So why not just try something different for once? Just do a year with the Mini and see how it goes.
A year?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're not going to be able to, look how serious he got.
That was kind of scary. I was like, what?
It's like I just
like a real
told you that you
commitment.
had some
God,
terrible
it's like getting
disease.
Yeah.
And you're like, excuse me, doctor? A year? I have a year to live? No, it's just a year with the iPhone Mini, sir. Oh, okay. Well. Jeez, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I've still got a week. I don't know how to make the choice. I really don't.
I think you should just
look at this. This is the product red too. I mean,
I love the color.
Well, I like the color on the band, the metal band. I mean, that's a really nice red.
It looks like a sports car.
The aluminum, yeah. But on the back,
it's kind of like the watch band and the watch casing, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit lighter and
right. It's a slightly
it doesn't
different
have that
shade.
like Iron Man sheen to it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, but the aluminum is really beautiful. The anodized aluminum. My God. And then the industrial design on this one as well, the Pro Max. I mean, that is so hot. It really is lovely. It's so beautifully made. It's like it really is a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful jewel.
And I'm kind of worried about it though. Like all that glass, I was totally scared. I was like, oh my God, this is going to come flying out of my hand, flying, and it's going to land face down on the concrete, and it's going to be completely wrecked. But then CNET did some tests with the Mini, and they were chucking it on the floor, throwing it on the floor, and they couldn't, they couldn't smash it. They said it's nearly indestructible. Indestructible.
There were YouTube videos of people doing this?
Well, I didn't watch the videos to be honest, but I've read the story and yeah, actually I read the headline and
actually the headline was in a tweet on Facebook. It was a tweet that was posted to Facebook. So I just saw like the first 3 words.
Right.
There
But
was
anyway,
a disclaimer
the headline
that says
says
not actually. not actually indestructible.
And in fact, my wife told me about it. She read the story and then she told me about it. She said that they were
This just keeps getting better. Actually, my wife read the story because her friend told her about it, so she didn't actually read it. Her friend told her about the headline, and then she told me, yeah.
Right. Anyway, they couldn't smash the screen, but they did ding up. Like you can, I'm looking at the story now, and they did ding up the edges of the thing, but they didn't smash the screen.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Oh dear, this is ugly. Look at it. Oh, horrible.
I feel like I just keep saying the word unbelievable over and over again. That's all I've said. That's become my new astonishing. You say astonishing, I say unbelievable. That's just the only word I have now.
It is astonishing. It is unbelievable. I mean, these new products that Apple's bringing out, M1 benchmarks, these beautiful phones, and you can't even smash the screen anymore. Like a phone with an indestructible screen. That's unthinkable. Unthinkable.
All right. Well, thank you for that astute assessment of both iPhones. You're making me have FOMO now because now I
don't have anything yet, right?
I don't have anything. And I really can't decide. I was on the verge. So the Sony A8H OLED is on sale right now, the lowest price of the year. And I don't know if you've ever seen a Sony A8H. A8H. I can't even say it. It's so difficult. It's like a tongue twister. They do it on purpose. It is a beautiful television. And I was this close to buying one because I have an older television that many people make fun of me for, even though it is a powerhouse of a TV, like the best that the 90s had to offer. Top 90s tech. I still have it. But now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't get a 4K TV and I should save my money and get the 16-inch MacBook Pro or the iMac, the M1X or the M1T iMac when it comes out, because I need something that's going to scream through Final Cut video. That's really what I'm looking for at this point. And so if I get something that is going to be 60% faster in Final Cut performance, that's better than looking at pictures of my kids in 4K, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's a much better investment.
I wish we could just turn around and look at them in real life.
I can see because that's a great point. I can turn around and see my kids in, what is that, like 8K, 16K? They're just 2K. I got 2K. They're right in front of me. So that's sufficient for me. I don't know, but there's too many good tech purchases on the way.
That's tough. And even the regular size iPhone, my neighbor has one, and that's and in the blue too. And that's a great size because it's halfway in between the two. Actually, no, I'm kind of wondering. Maybe I should go for that one.
Oh my God.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. It's so many choices. So hard.
My wife has the Pro, and I got the Pro Max. I don't think there's that much difference in the size. I've always been anti-Max, and every time I would come in and see yours in the office, and it's like, I don't know. I'm like, why do you have such a giant phone? But maybe you always have it in a case. I haven't put this thing in a case yet. And
I can't believe you guys haven't done that. Sorry, I just can't believe it. Neither of you guys have your phones in cases.
I don't want to put it in a case. I like the way it feels.
I do have a case. I got Apple's MagSafe case.
Which that thing is
with
hideous.
The beautiful circle.
Well,
that thing is so ugly.
It is. What's the point of having a see-through case with a stupid ugly
look at that
white thing on the back?
That looks so weird.
What were they thinking? What were they thinking?
I know. Johnny Ive's no longer there.
Yeah. My pecs are getting agitated by that case. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys missed it. They just tried to bust out and grab that case and throw it. Jeez, calm down, guys.
I've really been liking this giant screen, man. I like the fact that for the first time, picture-in-picture is actually usable. Every time I saw something in picture-in-picture before, is like, so tiny I couldn't see it. And it's just a little bit bigger, but it's big enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's enough screen left over to see something on the screen. I don't know, man. I think I'm keeping the big one.
Well, you're a keep the big one kind of guy, Lewis. So I'm not surprised to hear that. All right, hey, look, before we move on, so we're going to be moving on in just a sec here, and I think we should just move right into under review because we're already like way out of time. I got a freaking banger of a gadget to share with you for under review this week. And if you're not familiar with under review, it's a segment where we talk about the tech that we're currently reviewing and talk about what we like and what we don't. It's our gadget section of the show, and I've got a real good one this week. Let's see here. I'm on Caney View. Oh man, I was doing my eyebrow balance up and down to emphasize my point. Real good one. A real good one. They couldn't even see it because I was minimized. But before we do that, let me give a very hearty thank you to Netgear for supporting this episode. 'Tis the season to upgrade your Wi-Fi, my friends. Who needs new Wi-Fi? When you're connected to the world by Wi-Fi, be sure it's the best. Orbi Wi-Fi 6 from Netgear is the gift that keeps on giving. It covers your entire home with the fastest Wi-Fi so you can stream your favorite shows and movies, video chat with family far away, and work and learn from home on more devices than ever before. In any part of your house, it's Wi-Fi worth celebrating. Don't miss this holiday season's exclusive offer on the best Wi-Fi ever. Find out what makes Netgear America's #1 choice for Wi-Fi at netgear.com/best Wi-Fi. That's netgear.com/best Wi-Fi. Just take a look at that big, beautiful Orbi right there. Ooh, mama. That thing is shooting beams all over your house. You'll have internet that is going to reach you in the yard, in the bathroom, in the basement, in your woodshed. Does anyone have woodsheds anymore? Well, if you did, you'd have full bars there thanks to that Orbi. That's netgear.com/best Wi-Fi. And also, just real quick, if I may. Last week, we made a very exciting announcement. Cultcast is going listener supported. That's right. Now, let me just make one thing clear because there was some confusion about this. The Cultcast, as you see it now, is not changing. It will always be free. You can enjoy it the way you've always enjoyed it. But if you want some additional content, if you want to join us as we head where we're headed next, this is the way for you to do that. We have a ton of great perks, choice perks, that you'll get by joining Cultcast support. And you can join for a mere $6 a month. Now, I know that's a lot of money. I fully acknowledge that because Netflix is only like $8, $9. So they've got 4K content. You could get Apple TV Plus for $5 a month and get Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision content. Although I think we have more content than Apple TV Plus does, and probably will for the next 2 or 3 years. We've already got 61 people who have pledged their support. I'm so grateful to all these people. And if we can get this to 300 or 400 people, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to quit my job and just make content for you all full time. And we're already adding extra content. So we're doing extra content in the Cult Club, which is free to join. You don't even have to join the Cultcast Supporter Club to get that. But you'll get exclusive streams if you join. You'll also get an extra podcast called Cultcast Off Topic. I've already broadcast one last week, and people seem to really be enjoying it. It was just me talking about my favorite technology and my favorite OLED TV versus OLED or QLED technology. And I'll be going on more about that, talking about my favorite gadgets as well. And this week, I recorded an all-new Cultcast Off Topic with the Roamer, the Highlander, Buster Heine. That's right. We recorded a whole full episode. This wasn't easy for us to set up. I had to send a scout into the desert to find Buster Heine. They found him. He was very dehydrated. He was wearing like one of those ponchos. We found him asleep under a cactus. He's been surviving off nothing but peyote and lizards for weeks. All he eats is lizards for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner now. But he came down from the high plains to do an episode with us, and we had a lot of fun. So that will be airing on Monday, I believe, and you'll get that if you're part of the Cult Club, or part of the Cultcast Supporter Club, I should say. And you also get access to the Gear Garage, or the Gadge Garage, which is where we'll be giving away gadgets and gizmos of all kinds that we're no longer reviewing. So it really helps us out a lot, and it gets you some cool perks. So if you want to check that out, just go to support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com for supporter options. And I want to thank everyone who is currently supporting us. Let's move on to an all-new under review. Does anyone want to go first? I think, Lewis, actually, maybe you should go first because you haven't been talking a whole lot this episode. And I know you're sitting on something very special that might even be like this size right here. Lewis?
Well, Leander wanted to talk about his thing. I don't know. I can't.
Well, you can both talk about your things.
Yeah, let's I mean, that's really all I got to talk about this week is the HomePod Mini. And I've had I don't know, 12 hours. Mine probably got delivered at just about the same time as yours did. I actually took the bold move of ripping
you went
off
dark.
That box. I went dark.
That was the one that was sold out for like weeks and months.
Hot minute.
I think they're still sold out.
Are they still?
I think so. Yeah. I mean,
So
the
I
white
can
ones.
sell
I
them
love the
somewhere.
white ones. I think they have like a really beautiful '90s feel to them. And let me just check this out. You could talk if you want, but I think the dark ones are sold out for several weeks, but the white ones were still available for some reason. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I love the ease of setup. I love the way that it works. I love being able to just use Siri in yet one more place. I think it's great for that. Sound wise, I mean, it's
Really?
weird. Yeah, it doesn't. My first impression of it was like,
Not him.
it just
Meh is the word I think you're looking for, isn't it?
it
Meh.
doesn't have that like that super sparkly sound that
Yeah?
the regular HomePods have. It doesn't have that like
Wow.
real energetic magic. But then I was talking to Leander, and he's like, "Oh, it sounds great. I love it. It sounds so much better than the Wonder Boom." So I pull out the Wonder Boom and I did a little side by side, and it's really weird. I mean, they definitely sound different. They're both tiny speakers
Yeah.
tuned for certain things, right? And the the HomePod does sound better. You're right, Leander. You're absolutely right. And the HomePod or the Wonder Boom, the original Wonder Boom that I have here, definitely does sound like tinnier and shriller. But the thing is, it depends on what kind of music you're listening to, right? I don't know what kind of stuff you were listening to. You said you were listening to Led Zeppelin. Anytime I listen to anything that has like that kind of like thump to it, it sounds kind of like a wet cardboard box to me.
What?
I don't really like the way that I don't like the way that it sounds with hard rock that much.
Huh.
I just don't. I don't think and that's I listen to that kind of stuff a lot. But when I listen to some really old school country music or some Frank Sinatra or some Steely Dan or something like that, it definitely sounds better. It's like it's kind of a refined sound, right? I mean, that's what I think it excels at is stuff like that. That's just softer music, and it works great for like listening to HomePod to podcasts, listen to the daily briefing stuff. Siri is super fast and goes right to it and stuff. So I mean, I think it's a great little speaker, but I I hesitate to say, oh yeah, definitely get it and jam out to it because I don't think you'd be all that excited with it if you queue up a Van Halen song, which I did. I'm just not that thrilled with the way it sounds for that. But
Wow. Wow.
I don't know what I expect. It's $100 speaker, right?
Yeah, it
I
is
mean,
really small. I mean, when you see it, it's a lot smaller than you think it's going to be.
It's about the
Yeah.
size of a softball, yeah. And in fact, the Ultimate Ears is fairly, it's substantially bigger than the HomePod Mini. It really is. It's small, and you just can't beat physics. I mean, it just doesn't have the drivers to move that much air to give you that kind of thump, that real sound. Having said that, I got a stereo pair, so I set up two of them, and the two sound way better than just one. Like remember when we were talking about this before with the HomePods themselves, you put them in a stereo pair, same dynamic. You get a pair,
Wow.
you get two pairs of the minis, and they're good. It is a nice sound. It filled up. I mean, I got a 300 square foot office here, and I got two of them on opposite sides of the room. At the other side of the room, and when you're in that side of the room with two of them playing, it's good. It's actually sort of it's room filling, even though it's not overbearing, but it will fill the room. Two of them, but you come to the other side of the room, and then you can see the deficiencies. It's not quite. It won't fill the entire room if you're on the other side of the room. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of more local, so it sounds good when you're right in front
Yeah.
of it, but as soon as you move away, it starts to fade out really quick. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. And but then compare that to the full size HomePods, which I have at the other end of the room. Those things fill the entire room up. And they're rattling the windows. I mean, it's those have got real thump.
and comparing a stereo pair of the Mini to a regular HomePod, I'm guessing there's no comparison, right? The
No.
regular HomePod sounds better, and the bottom line is you can get a regular HomePod a lot of time. I mean, they list for 300, but they often sell them for 200. That's what two HomePod Minis cost. I mean, I don't know. Compared to the HomePod, it doesn't have that like glistening magic, right? I don't think. I
Yeah.
I only have one. I don't have two, But
Oh man, 2 makes all the difference, Lewis. 2
you
makes.
haven't even opened the box, my friend.
Oh, you're talking
Well,
about
he's thinking
minis
about the
or
regular
regulars?
HomePods.
I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about the
I'm
regulars.
talking about a regular HomePod versus 2 HomePod minis, which, yes, they're. I mean, technically, one is $100 and one is $300, but when you can get occasionally the big one for 2, that's just my point. Is like if you want it for music, I don't think there's any comparison. But what I can imagine is, especially if they make these things. What the hell is that?
It sounds like Van Halen just called you.
Wow.
Is that yours? Is that your?
Oh, is
That's
it
your
playing?
HomePod?
Yeah, I accidentally tapped it. Can you hear it? Anyway,
It's kind of low, yeah.
What these things are going to be great for is if you want to have one in your bedroom, and you want to have one in your kitchen, and you want to have one in your, name your room. Because
Woodshed.
yeah, because
Oh yeah,
Because
don't
they're
forget the
great.
woodshed.
they're great for that kind of thing, right? I mean, I can absolutely see how somebody would say, "Oh, I'm going to buy a handful of these things and sprinkle them around my house and use them as an intercom." I mean, think if you had like I mean, some people have like 4 kids, right, and a wife. Put
I
one
know
of
some of
these
those
in,
people.
5 different rooms and say, "Hey, everybody, it's dinner time." I mean, it's awesome for that, right?
Yeah, it's
and the
pretty cool.
intercom feature does work pretty damn well. I'm saying I'm allowed to say damn.
I'm gonna have to
It
run
worked
that
pretty
by.
dang well.
I'm gonna have to run that by Susan Wojcicki. I'm gonna have to email her and see if we can get that one to slide. I will say this, just real quick about the HomePods, Lewis. I was doing some testing this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Actually, maybe yesterday, the day before, with the HomePods, because we were talking about HomePods in stereo mode and Dolby Atmos and the Apple TV and all that stuff. In fact, I just did a video, 2 videos actually, on my YouTube page, youtube.com/AirFonElijah. Link in the show notes.
Shameless.
About
Shameless.
the HomePods, one of them
Shameless
with
and
almost
seamless.
100,000 views already, which is my reaction. Yeah, this one blew up. I couldn't believe how popular it got. It was my reaction to hearing Dolby Atmos on the HomePods with the Apple TV. And I did some tests afterwards, and one of the things that people asked was, well, how does it sound with just one HomePod? So I did that test in the last couple days, and it's not nearly as good, Lewis. It's like Leander said, and you kind of mentioned the what would you say, like the shining magic or something? The glistening magic. The glistening magic is when you have 2 together, because one HomePod sounds really good, but when you put 2 of them together, it creates this aural synergy, the envelope of power all the way around. You're just like, where'd that sound come from? It's like boom, pop, bang, ploof. And those 2 working together, Dolby Atmos with the Apple TV, whoa, it creates a immersive 3D aural experience with one. When you have one just next to the TV, it sounds like the sound is coming from over there by your TV. So it's not as talented and it's not as immersive. You really have to have 2. I think HomePods in general, one HomePod sounds good, but where things really shine is when you have them in stereo mode. So that's why I got 2 of these bad boys right here, is to put these into stereo mode and to do a review and see how they sounded. Hey, in
You
stereo
know how to
mode.
open that box, right?
Listen, Lewis, I don't need to open the box to know that this is one of the finest speakers
No,
on the market.
I just want to tell you, just make sure you find that little arrow on there and
There
rip
it
it,
is.
because if you try and open,
That's right there.
I
That's
didn't see that right off the bat, and I started trying to open that box. I felt like a moron.
You were like
It's not-
tearing into it like a rabid
this is the
raccoon.
hardest
I had
box
to-
to
I had
open
to-
in the world.
Yeah, I had exactly the same thing. It is. It's completely impregnable.
I mean, it's
Impregnable.
shocking. I took a knife to it. I'm like, this ain't gonna work. And I
Out there with your
finally saw that
chainsaw?
thing, I'm like, oh gee.
Come on, dude. How much
like
more
a
obvious
moron.
could
I
TC
don't
make
know,
it for
it's
you?
like
The
there was a
arrow's right.
smudge- There was a smudge or something. I don't know. I didn't see it. I was so excited.
I mean,
was
it's-
just like, it's a box.
it's
right?
literally got
not
labels.
a normal box.
It's literally
Not-
got labels on all 4 sides, except for the side with the arrow that you're supposed to use to open it.
That was
Everything
sweet.
else has labels on it.
Eyes ain't that good.
Anyway,
yeah.
so on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be doing a comparison. First I'll be doing a sound test of HomePod minis in stereo mode, and then I'm going to do a comparison of HomePod minis stereo mode versus HomePod's stereo mode. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. Okay, so that's your under review. Leander, what do you got? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, well, that's what I was going to talk about. the
Okay,
whole
do you want to
pod
add
mini.
anything else then? And then I'll
I
pitch
don't,
mine.
I
and
don't, I've just been testing Apple Gear all week, so I haven't really been looking at anything else.
It's been a rough week for Apple reviewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a busy week, busy week.
And you just spent a fortune. You got Apple or the iPhone 12, two of them. You got the MacBook Air.
Shh.
You got the HomePod
my-
Mini.
might be listening. We better-
What to keep, what to return. Are you keeping the HomePod Mini?
I think I'd keep the minis. Yeah, you know, I mean, the one thing I was really disappointed about was because I've been messing with my Sonos system at home. Like I have my home theater is a Sonos Play base, and then these two Play Ones satellite speakers and a subwoofer. And I've had these for years, and it cost me a fortune to buy these things. You know, like they're all expensive, and it's gone. Oh my God, I was going to say a word that you're not allowed to say.
Don't
but,
say it. They're hovering over the disconnect button. They're like that. They're just waiting for it.
It's gone wrong, and for 3 days I've been trying to get these things to work, you know, like every night, and it's driving me nuts. I think there's a hardware fault in the thing in both of the satellite speakers. Anyway, cut long story short, I was having to use the minis. I was like, you know, instead of wasting my time trying to, you know, troubleshoot these, maybe I could use the minis as the satellite speakers on the TV, and they will work with the Apple TV, but they won't work with, you know, the regular TV. There's no way to, or anyway, right now, I bet there's a way to do it, but right now, you know, you can't pipe the sound from the TV through these things as a satellite speaker, which is kind of disappointing because I'd love to be able to do that. You know, you just replace the Sonos and not have to troubleshoot them and use these two things as my TV satellite speakers, but you know, can't do it right now unless I can figure out a way to, you know, there might be a way to do it. I know there's some hacks and things you can do, but yeah, that's a bit of it. That's you know, for me, the one thing that I'd love to see them to be able to do, you know, be able to use it as a TV theater satellite system.
That'd be
Yeah,
really
like
cool.
if you could pump your cable through there. So, I don't know. Do you think that two of those are going to be loud enough? I mean, if you're watching a movie, I mean.
Well, for satellites, if you can hook it up, if I could keep the play base and the subwoofer and then just use them at the back of the room instead of the two play ones, I think they would be okay for satellite speakers. Yeah, you know,
Like-
at the back of the room.
They ever allow that though? Like, can
Well, I
you
saw
use Sonos with other? I don't know
Yeah.
anything about Sonos.
Yeah, you can, but there are limitations.
It's weird.
Anyway, I haven't dug into it. I'm going to look into it this, you know, like next couple of days and see if I can figure it out. But there is a way to make them work with the you know, the HomePods to work with Sonos.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if you could, you know, make it work on a 5 or 7.1, you know, home theater system.
You should check that out because one of the things that I thought you couldn't do is use a soundbar with the HomePods. And I've heard some people in the comment section on this YouTube video that I did say, "Oh, I got it working just fine." But I'm like, well, does it work in Atmos or did you just somehow get the sound working? Like, is it a hack? Because from the Apple TV, it only supports 2 HomePods at a time. So you can either do 2 regular HomePods or 2 HomePod minis. There, as far as I know, is no official way to use the HomePods with a soundbar. I don't think Apple really wants you to be doing that, but maybe there is a way to do it. Maybe you can like connect, because they connect wirelessly. So how would you keep the audio in sync? Like if you had a soundbar that you were using with your TV content, and then you connected the Apple TV to your HomePods, and you also have a sound system, how is the sound between the soundbar and the HomePods synced? Because they have to all stay synced, right? That's the part that I'm really confused about, but some people said that they got it working somehow. So
okay, I'm gonna.
if
look
you
at
get
that,
it working, if you can MacGyver that thing and see if you can get it working, I would love to hear about it. Okay, look, let me wrap up with this real fast because I got a doozy for you guys. You guys ready for this?
Uh-oh.
I'm going into browser mode. I have been really enjoying a 20-volt tire inflator from Dewalt. This thing is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's a life-changing gadget. I got it right here. Let me show it to you. It's called the 20-volt Max tire inflator. Now, the bummer is it's a tool only.
it.
What's that?
Describe it. You better describe
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to describe it so everyone listening can see what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So it's about a 10-pound device. It kind of looks like a boombox. I'm holding it up, and it looks like a small radio. And what this thing does, first of all, I should probably start with that, is it inflates tires. Now, look,
battery charger.
I realize that this is not the most sensual of gadgets, okay? But everyone's got tires in their life. You got bike tires, you got car tires, you got stroller tires. I mean, tires. And all of these things need to be kept at a certain PSI. And if they're not at a certain PSI, they don't move as well. You might get much worse gas mileage, right? I mean, my car, I checked the other day because I never checked my air pressure on my tires. It was down like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 PSI, which if you know anything about tires, if you don't keep your PSI high and tight where it's supposed to be, you can ruin your tires. You also get way worse gas mileage. Like your gas mileage can drop 10, 15, maybe even higher percent. And so I got this inflator, and this thing is unbelievable. So first of all, it has like this really long hose that's on one side, right? And it's got this really fantastic brass tip that you can screw into your tires. And then you turn it on and it will tell you what your tire pressure is. So some pressure gauges or some inflators don't do that. They just fill your tire with air. This one will show you what pressure your tire is currently at, so you don't need an additional tire pressure gauge. And then with this little scroll wheel, it's like an iPod scroll wheel right here. You just rotate it around and then you hit the start button and it will inflate your tire to the exact pressure that you set. And while it's inflating, guess what I'm doing? Stella Artois, that's right. I'm just sitting there, my Stella Artois. If I have more than one or two, I go to my neighbor's house and I initiate a fight with them. Sound familiar, Leander? Punch him out, come back, tire's done.
Tire's done, yeah.
And so you can use this on your bicycle as well. It does high pressure tires. It also has an adapter.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, you said high pressure tires. What does it go up to?
I think it goes up to 120 PSI.
Okay, that's plenty for a road bike tire. Cool.
Yeah, I'd have to look into it, but it's something like that.
You sold me already. I'm already shopping for one.
Dude, these things are life-changing. And so the other thing that it does is it will inflate your inflatable beds or other big stuff. It has another hose on it on the other side that you can use, and then you put this into like high output mode, and it will blow up like your aero bed or whatever.
It's like a vacuum.
Yeah. It's like a
use it as a
vacuum
leaf
in reverse. What?
You could use it as a leaf blower.
It wouldn't move very many leaves.
Dry your hair.
You could maybe
Hook it up to the Floby.
So for your case, Leander, you could put your bubbler next to the input fan, and then ignite the bubbler, and then put the high pressure hose into your mouth, and just let it shoot smoke out your ears.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds exactly what I need.
I don't think that's an official feature of the device, but I think it would work. And so I got this thing, and when you initially get it, it doesn't come with a battery, right? So that's kind of a bummer. It comes with a car plug adapter, so it has a really long plug, so you can reach all your tires, but it's kind of inconvenient. So where the magic really happens is if you buy a Dewalt battery and charger, so that this thing can be 100% portable. Like I have it here, so it has like a battery installed now, right? So I just have a battery right here. I just pop this battery in here.
It doesn't come with a battery?
It doesn't come with a battery. This is the new fad in tool tech. None of them come with batteries anymore. They sell the bare tools. They give you like a screaming good deal on the bare tools, and then they expect you to buy their batteries and their
battery, yeah.
But the thing is you can buy these batteries on Craigslist. I bought this battery and the charger. They go for $100 on Amazon. I got it for $40. So if you want to get a battery, you can just go
of a contractor's truck.
Yeah, or you can do that. Sometimes I'm there at night stealing their copper wire, and their truck's there, and I'll just go in and get a battery or two, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, it works out great. So this entire contraption, as I paid for, if you were just to buy it brand new, would probably cost you $180, which is a lot. I know it's a lot. I probably spent $140, which is still a lot, but this thing I think is best in class. It's one of the best that you can get, and it will save you so much time and headache inflating all the tires in your life. Just think how many tires you have in your life. Like if you have kids, all their bike tires. I have a stroller, all the stroller tires, all the car tires. I mean, it's life-changing. Life-changing. I can't tell you how many people I've sold this to. I don't make any money on these, right? Like go on the internet and buy one. But I just like it so much. I've heard several people say, dude, I got to get one of those. And I think, Leander, I think I got you.
So
I'm really tempted. I'm really tempted. Like I said, I mean, I spend so much time pumping up tires. You would just, we tried to go out for a bike ride at the weekend with, my wife and kids. So there's 6 bikes, and every one of them had to have its tires pumped up.
That's
And
right.
we were like there for an hour, messing with the tires, which is, and this thing, like, I like the way you said you can set it to a certain PSI and it'll just take care of it. That's killer.
That's a
Although the
killer
only thing,
feature, isn't it?
I'm going to need a Presta adapter because I got Presta tires, on most of the bikes.
Oh yeah, right. You got the
So
fancy
that's-
tires.
That's one thing that might throw it off. But like you said, we've got with the car too. We got one of these older ones. It's like a battery. What do you call it? Like a portable charger
Yeah.
that will jump charge it, and it's got a built-in inflator, which is just rubbish. It's awful. But it's the only one we've got for the car tires. So yeah, I was thinking, maybe it's time to upgrade.
That's actually
Although
what I
180
used to have.
bucks, though.
how much is it? It's $100 for the
Bare
unit
tool.
itself, and then
Yeah. Now you can use the tool without a battery because it comes with an AC adapter, so you can use it and plug it into your car's cigarette lighter port. And
plug it into your bike's cigarette lighter.
yeah,
port.
for Leander's, he's got a cigarette lighter on his bike. Can't
we'll
do that
have
the
to-
smokes.
I'll hook it up to the other one. I'll hook it up to the other portable battery
There you go.
because that's got a cigarette port on it already.
So yeah, you can do that and then use it without the battery. And at $100, this thing is totally worth it all day, all night. Now with the battery, it makes it even better. But the thing is like this is one of those lifestyle investments because think how much work it is to like. Look, I know I'm repeating myself. If you've ever pumped up a freaking bike tire, just one bike tire. Do you know how long it takes? How much effort it takes to pump up a tire? It takes like 5 minutes of you going, and then you're all hot and sweaty, and then, oh man, now you gotta go do the other tire. Oh, and then your kid's like, my bike doesn't work, and I'm too weak to use the tire pump. Now you gotta go do all their tires. So this is one of those things that once you use it, it's like getting a dishwasher. Once you use it,
Yeah.
you're like, how did I live without this? I used to spend all my day just pumping tires. That's all I did all day. And now I hit a button and I just drink the Stella Artois all day. All I do is drink Stellas now. It's the life I've always wanted to have. So that's it.
I'm sold. I'm totally sold. I'm gonna go get one right as soon as we get off this show. I'm gonna go get one.
Just wait till Black Friday, man. Keep.
Oh, you're
sit
right,
Up and
yeah.
alert.
Although,
Yeah,
what's
that's
strange is these were totally sold out for like 2 months. I had to drive like 20 minutes away to get mine from a Lowe's in another city because all of them were sold out. And it looks like all of a sudden Home Depot has them in stock again, but they are limited supply. So just keep that in mind. And as we get closer to Christmas and stuff, like all this stuff is going to start selling out because no one's working anymore. Everyone's just at home online shopping, remember? So nothing's available online anymore. Anyway, I think we're officially out of steam. We should go ahead and wrap it up there. What do you guys say?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
ready for
could, I
lunch.
could go for another hour. Come
You
on,
thi-
let's.
You think
Go.
so? Oh man, that's a bummer. The music started. That means we have to stop, Lewis. That's it. We have to stop. But maybe you
Cut
can
off.
come back live after we're done and just do a show by yourself. How's that
Can't
sound?
believe you gonged Lewis.
just rant by myself in my little room here.
That's what I do for Cultcast Off Topic. It's just me rambling by myself in a room by myself. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the Cultcast we have for you guys this week. But if you want to come talk to us about your favorite gadgets, we're all on Twitter. I'm at Airfon. Leander is at LK. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the Cultcast, the best 30+ minute album conversation you're gonna hear all week long. New episodes of the Cultcast come out every Thursday night. Wait, no. I want to thank everyone for listening. New episodes of the Cultcast come out every Thursday night. I totally screwed that up. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up there. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next time.